There is something that's happening to me and something that's happening to Petunia, and I'm going to talk about it. I do believe that there's a certain group that uses this in a certain way, and maybe after I start explaining it, you'll know what I'm talking about, because I cannot say the name of this group if I want anybody to hear this video. I have experienced extreme traumas. Extreme traumas. Multiples. I have died several times. I have been beat. I have been raped in some of the worst ways. I experienced an extreme amount of childhood trauma. My entire childhood was filled with trauma. I don't have many happy memories. Any happy memories from being a child. I don't have many memories from being a child. I'm not sure which traumatic event was the one that, I'm sure that it happened when I was a child. But I experienced a traumatic event that was extreme enough to drop my body's polarity to a negative state and to push my positive soul out and to leave me empty. This happens, people. This happens. This happens. When you put somebody through a traumatic event, this is what happens to them. You are dropping their body's frequency so low. The soul runs on frequency. The soul has a frequency. In order to connect to the body and blend with the body and develop inside the body, it has to have the same exact frequency. When you put somebody through a traumatic event, their body frequency changes. Dear one, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? Sorry, dear one just couldn't get through the window. That was interesting. So when you go through a traumatic event, where was I at? Your body frequency drops. Your body's frequency drops. Your soul at this point is misaligned with your frequency and gets pushed out. It literally leaves your body. And it leaves you empty at that point. You are left empty. No soul. What this feels like is you feel dead. You feel like you don't have any likes, any dislikes. You don't know who you love. You don't know what your purpose is. You literally don't know anything about yourself. This happens to children after they go through these traumatic events. People do this on purpose to children because at this point they're erasable after that point. And I'm going to explain that in a second. This is what's happening to people when you put them through a traumatic event. It has to be some sort of like big event, big traumatic event. Either that or a prolonged period of abuse. Like constant, prolonged period of abuse, like several weeks of full-on verbal, physical, emotional abuse. That is another way that this can happen. So your soul gets pushed out and you're left empty. What happens next? Well, I told you that the soul develops based on frequency. So now you're going to have a new soul that develops inside of you based on your new frequency, which after a traumatic event is negative frequency, is a lower frequency. So now you're going to have a negative or lower source soul inside of you. And this is you, by the way. This is your soul. You have different levels of your soul. There are different levels, different frequencies. There are, I would say, hundreds of different levels of frequencies you could pick up on and you could develop inside of you based on your own soul's timeline. So this is your soul. In some cases of extreme, like a one event, like extreme traumatic event for somebody, in that case, a negative soul that is not of your own frequency can enter your body and can blend with you. And these are the people that you would say have demons inside of them. These are the people who are the worst of the worst people. Their bodies have been taken over by their soul, by their negative soul that entered their body. And this soul isn't their frequency. So it has more control over them. If you know what I'm talking about, try to pin this to like what happens out there. So now you have this negative soul inside of you. And you go on about your life. And ever since that traumatic event, you've never been the same. Well, that's why. Because now you have a new soul. That's why. So, you go on about your life. But you run into more trauma. You run into more trauma. You know, your life took a downward turn at that point, and you've never been the same, and it seems like your life just went downward at that point. So you keep running into trauma. You keep running into trauma. And by the way, your new soul is the one that's bringing this trauma to you. Your new soul is the one that's bringing these negative experiences to you, because your new soul has the ability to bring experiences to you. So you keep running into all this trauma. Nothing major or nothing extreme like what you experienced the first time. Nothing like that. But just, you know, losing your wallet and feeling that feeling of your heart sinking into your stomach. That feeling of your heart sinking into your stomach is an indicator that you know this has happened. And what happened? Well, you've been erased. One traumatic event, simple as losing your wallet, can erase you. At this point, since you have been separated from your original soul of your body, you are much easier to erase at this point, and you are much easier to swap souls. It is much easier for your body to push one out and to develop one now, because once you break that gate, it's open. So each time you have, you know, a semi-traumatic event such as losing your wallet, or, you know, somebody says something to you and you go home and you cry about it, that's enough. That's another reason that's enough. In this case, you will, when you wake up from the sleep that you take after that event, when you wake up from that experience, you will be erased. Not to the extent that you were when you had a negative soul enter you, but you will be erased to the point where you forget things. You forget what your purpose is. You wake up and you don't have a direction. You can't focus. You don't want to do anything. You just want to sit. You just want to sit and watch TV and not have to use yourself at all. These are symptoms of this happening. And every single time that something as simple as losing your wallet or somebody saying something to you and making you cry, every single time this happens and you go home and you cry, or you feel that feeling of your heart sinking into your stomach, you are erased. You are erased, and you are easily controllable at that point. And then it takes weeks to months to develop another soul. And then if you have another negative body, you know, another negative experience, if you're still in negative experiences, you're going to develop another negative soul. And each soul you develop is less tied to you, is easier to take away from you. With each new soul you develop, it becomes that much easier to take away from you and to be pushed out of your body. It gets looser the more you get. And I'm going through this right now because of Petunia and her peeing in the house. When she pees in the house, I see red. I get so upset. I yell and I scream and I cry and I feel my heart drop in my stomach. And then I sleep and then I wake up the next day and I got to start from fucking zero all over again. That's why I'm not getting ahead in my job. That's why I'm not getting ahead in anything right now, because I wake up and I start at fucking zero again. This is happening to a certain group of people in the spotlight. This is what they do to them. This is what they're doing to them. I have realized that this is what they're doing to them. They erase them by putting them through a traumatic event because they become more controllable at that point and they're less influential. This is what they're doing to people, and it's fucked up. Trauma is fucked up. People don't understand the depth of what trauma can do to you. It's fucked up. So I'm going through this right now, to where I wake up every day and I'm erased and I have to start from zero. Another part of being erased means no intuition, no ego voice in your head, no pull in any direction. You know, we're pulled as humans. We have electromagnetic field that pulls us in directions, and our soul is the driver of that field. So, you know, our soul puts out this field and it pulls us to certain situations or certain people. So if you don't, you know, if you wake up and you're erased and you're not connected to your soul, you're not going to feel pulled in any certain direction. You're not going to know what the fuck to do with yourself, which is how I wake up every day. I don't know what the fuck to do with myself. This happens to people. And now there's another aspect to this. Petunia is going through this right along with me. Animals go through this as well. Petunia is right there with me, going through the same erase thing. I don't want to make this video too long, but Petunia, when I first got her, I put her through a traumatic event. I was the one who did it to her. I traumatized her so badly, I separated her soul from her body, and she was left empty at that point. And I didn't know all of this at the time. I didn't know all of this. So I was oblivious, and I just left her in the corner by herself, sad and crying and scared. And she probably developed the most dark, negative soul there could be in her little body at that point. That is why she itched so bad. That is why she had the allergies so bad. That is why she didn't want me to hold her. That is why she didn't want me to get near her, because she had a negative soul. And that negative soul didn't like me because I'm the one who traumatized her. This happens to your animals. This might have happened to your animals before you got them, before they went to the shelter. This happens, whether you want to believe it or not. Whether you believe in the soul or not, this is what's happening to you and everybody else. It's like 6 a.m. and I'm yelling in my house with my roommates upstairs. I just don't know what the fuck I'm doing with myself anymore. I have so much information and so many messages inside of me that I need to get out. And social media is a crock of shit these days. So Petunia, so I traumatized her. She developed this negative soul. She had that negative soul for 2 years. I remember the day the negative soul left her body, and it was because I gave her a medicine. It's because I gave her steroids, a steroid medicine. It's a common medicine. I'm forgetting the name of it. I gave her a steroid, and she woke up the next day, and she forgot who she was. She literally didn't know anything about herself. She didn't know who she was. And I believe that's when the negative soul got pushed out, and then a positive soul developed inside of her. I also have a positive soul now, too. I went through an erase event about a month or two ago. After I quit my job, I woke up one day and I forgot everything. Forgot fucking everything. But I felt less burdened. Because the negativity was gone out of me, which was excellent. I don't know if I still have a positive or negative soul. I haven't experienced a big erase event like that yet, where you wake up and you forget absolutely everything. But Petunia pees in the house. And every time she pees in the house, I yell and I scream at her and I punish her. And yelling and screaming at her and punishing her is enough to make her erase. She is erasable now because her original soul was pushed out of her body from that one event where I traumatized her. So she is erasable now. After that one event of your original soul getting pushed out of your body, you are erasable after that point. So she wakes up and she forgets she loves me. She forgets that I love her. She forgets where she sleeps. She forgets where she eats. She forgets how to put her harness on. Literally, every day that I wake up and I'm erased, she's erased. We're both erased together. And we both are the same. We both are the same. I laid in bed and I cried myself to sleep. I cried buckets of gallons of tears last night. I cried buckets of gallons of tears. I know all of this information and I'm seeing all of this just play out in front of me and I have to share it. But social media just fucking stops everybody from sharing everything these days that isn't bullshit or part of the narrative. If you are someone who has experienced an extreme traumatic event to where maybe you think that your original soul did get pushed out of you and, today you're still experiencing trauma and you wake up every day and you feel like you're starting over from scratch? Well, it's because you are. Energetically, you are starting over from scratch every fucking day you wake up and you have a traumatic event. Trauma is part of Earth. It's part of the experience on Earth. Without trauma, Earth would be a completely different fucking place. And I know this happens to Petunia, and I know it happens to myself, and I can't stop myself from doing it. I can't stop myself from doing it. When you can't stop yourself from doing something, you're supposed to learn something. You're learning. It's a learning phase. You're in a learning phase. You're in a learning loop, we'll call it. A learning loop. Here, this is going to happen to you so many times that you're going to learn absolutely everything there is to learn about it. And I do think I'm going to teach people about this one day. I don't know what you all think of me. I know who I am, though. Do you know who you are? On a soul level? Because I do. That's my cue.